It is time once again for another round of sound. Welcome back, everybody, to the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. I'm Josh Taylor in tonight for Bob Pompiani. Plenty to talk about. We're going to talk about the Penguins, the recent trade with Riley Sheehan. Scott Wilson moves on to Detroit. Also, what's the issue with the backup goaltending situation? Is that a big problem for the Penguins? Penn State gets a big one over Michigan. Can they keep it rolling against Ohio State? But our #1 topic of the night, your Pittsburgh Steelers beating another division opponent in Cincinnati today. They improved to 5-2 on the season. And to help me talk about that is our panel for this evening. On your screen from left to right, co-host of the Cook and Pony Show on 93.7 The Fan, Andrew Fillipponi. In the middle, also from 93.7 The Fan, is Chris Mack. On the far right from the Associated Press is Will Graves. He's still there.
Ready or not, here I come.
We can see you, Will. All right, let's start with the Steelers here. Probably the most balanced effort we've seen from this team. Efficiency in the passing game. LeVeon Bell goes over 35 carries again, runs the ball well, makes an impact in the passing game. The defense shuts down Cincinnati in the second half. Andrew Fillipponi, we'll start with you. How do you feel more about this team and their ability to actually give a complete effort after what you saw today?
Well, I think what we've seen the last 2 weeks, Josh, is a continued supremacy. It's the latest chapter in what is, a long study of how the Steelers perform against the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cincinnati Bengals. They own those two teams, and I think what today furthered for me is the narrative that we have a collision course, that at some point in late January, we will see the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New England Patriots, and both teams right now, the Steelers seem to have fixed their offense a little bit, and the Patriots tonight fixed their defense. So back in August, we thought Patriots-Steelers, and I think that got furthered with both performances tonight.
Yeah, we saw the Steelers get back to running the ball again. This is 2 weeks in a row now where they focused on running the ball. It feeds the offense. LeVeon Bell, give him as many touches as you can think of. Get him out in space. Get him involved in the passing game. We've seen him do this before. We're going to see him do it again. To your point, Pony, about the collision course with the New England Patriots late in the season, we'll see it once at Heinz Field in the regular season. I think that will be an interesting opportunity to see how Keith Butler has adjusted his defense, if at all, to what Tom Brady is able to do. We saw Brady make the Falcons look fairly silly tonight in Foxborough. That's the biggest question.
I'd also like to see Le'Veon Bell healthy for that game in January. And when you're up double digits in the fourth quarter, I don't think it's the smartest idea to continue to ride Bell the way that they did in this game.
Pony, I think he's one of the best running backs in football, and I think he wants to be on the field. And we talk a lot about. So the players
call the shots. Well, I mean,
you've met the team before, right? You've been around the team. It's not like they don't have a lot of run. They get a lot of rope from the team. And look, I think heck, I was on here a couple weeks ago, and Ron and somebody else were talking about you got to get guys out of the game late, or you got to play. You can't worry about them getting hurt late. I was talking about the Penguins. For me, look, he's their best player, and I'm okay with him trying to grind it out. Maybe they don't have enough confidence yet in James Conner.
Why? Have you seen the way Conner runs the ball?
He hasn't run enough. I mean, to be honest with you, I'd prefer to have him run more early in the game so you can have Le'Veon late grinding out. If you want to quibble, that's where I would split the hairs at. For me, personally, when we look at the team-wise, I was impressed. They had 20 yards. The Bengals had 20 yards in the second half.
Let's not ignore the fact, too, that this team was 1 for 6 in the red zone today, and in the second half was only up by 12 most of the second half.
But it never felt close. Did it ever feel at any moment like they were in any danger?
My point is this, Will. I don't think at any point in today's game do I look up at the scoreboard if I'm Mike Tomlin and go, okay, got to protect the starters.
Whoa, hold on. I'm not making this argument for playing Conner on the basis of protecting. We've
got to have him ready for New England, right? In big games late in the season.
I want to see the guy last for an entire season, and it's never happened. Okay?
Has it been due to overuse?
You go back and look at how December and January played out. He breaks down in the New England game. You don't connect those dots, Chris? I do.
Has it in the past been because of overuse, or was it this one time in New England when he wasn't available?
Are you rejecting my notion that that's why he got injured in the New England game?
I don't know if it is or not. I'm rejecting the notion that at any point today we could look at it and clearly say, yep, we got to remember that Le'Veon Bell is more important in December and January, so we got to make sure we don't override him in October and November.
Right. The only game they can win is the game today. Today is the only game they could win. Was today's game. They cannot win the AFC Championship game.
The game was won, Will. I mean,
by the way, Le'Veon, I hate this myth that keeps getting perpetuated. The 2 injuries that he had in 14 and 15 were unavoidable injuries. They had nothing to do with overuse and everything to do with getting hitting low by Reggie Nelson and getting hitting dirty by Montez Burfict.
Did I bring
so one time he breaks down and look, it was an important game, but you have no. I mean, with those soft tissue injuries, we have no idea when it could have started bothering him. And look, it didn't look like it was a problem in December when he was running it 35 times against the Bills.
No, but it did in New England, and there's a reason why there's a pitch count on pitchers, and there's a reason why coaches watch running back totes, because it's a physically demanding position. If they've got the confidence to put Watson on the field for a 3rd and 1, you're telling me they don't have confidence to ride one of those big running backs in the fourth quarter?
I would prefer to have Rosie Nix in blocking for him all the time in their situations. I don't know why we're running 3rd and 1 plays without 45 on the field. I think that needs to go. That kind of stuff I'd like to see. You have to win the game today. Run your best players. Okay, if they pull him out midway through the fourth quarter and the Bengals get a touchdown, we're like, well, why'd you pull Le'Veon so early? So I just think these are first world problems. They were dominant in the second half today. They had the best team on both sides of the ball. They as long as they don't screw up the next 2 weeks, they're going to be 7-2 and have 5 of their last 7 at home and have every reason to be the team that we thought they were going to be 2 months ago.
All right, sticking with the topic of maybe ratios between one player and another. It seems like we can't get through a single win, a single game, a single week without more drama. This time it explodes again on social media. Martavis Bryant, just a couple of hours ago on Instagram, gets into an argument with somebody on Instagram, and the topic was him and Juju Smith-Schuster, and his argument was basically, well, I'm going to get mine, and you can have Juju or whoever else you want. Chris Mack, are we back to this point again where we're questioning just how much Martavis Bryant is being ingratiated into this offense? Is it that big of a deal?
I'm questioning Martavis Bryant's use of a cell phone and social media, and if anybody else is, I'm not trying to take the blame away from him, but if anybody else is grabbing Martavis's phone and saying things for him, whoever's saying it, they need to put the phone down, put the Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever down, and stop talking about it. Go out and make the noise on the field, state your case between the lines. That's the only way anybody's going to take you any more seriously than they're taking you right now, Martavis.
I mean, for me, when you look at what he's been through, the league's substance abuse policy is not designed to rehabilitate guys. It's designed to get guys out of the league. Where's Josh Gordon right now? Where's Josh Gordon? Martavis has gotten his life together. I get that he's frustrated. I've always liked the kid. I'd like to give him the benefit of the doubt here. I'm with Chris. Put your phone away. Change your passcode. Don't use fingerprint ID. Just leave your phone away and just play ball. If you play ball, I think everything will be fine.
Well, I'll say this about it. I don't cut him any breaks. To me, Juju Smith is the youngest guy in the league, and he shows way more maturity than Martavis Bryant. Part of your job is to police the people who are around you, your acquaintances, your friends, your family members. He's done a terrible job with that. I thought today we saw a guy who, there's a long ball to him. He has no clue where the ball is. The first play's designed for him. It goes nowhere. Easy tackle near the goal line. I say all the time that he's one of the most talented wide receivers in football, but we haven't seen that out of him in the first 7 games of the season.
Pony, you used the word maturity, and it leads right into the break, and we're going to come back. We're going to talk about a pretty interesting topic. Montez Burfict, the player that Steeler fans love to hate. He was added again today. We'll talk about what should happen with him when we come back on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown.
The #1 Cochran Sports Showdown is brought to you by #1 Cochran, Go One Better, and by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Have a greater hand in your health.